right, we are back, and next week, well, on Sunday, we'll be headed out, not next week, just in a couple of days, a couple hours. We'll be headed out for our 21st year of going to the East-West Shrine game. Looking forward to our NFL draft coverage like we do every single year. Only radio show in the country that goes to the East-West, the Senior Bowl, and the Combine every single year. And our first stop is always at the East-West Shrine game, an exceptional game. Bob Roller is the executive director of the East-West Shrine game. Mr. Roller, good afternoon, my friend. Welcome aboard.
Good afternoon. Bowl season is not over.
No, it's not, sir. No. The really important bowls are starting now, because that's where these young men are getting ready to build careers. And that's the exciting part you got to love about these kind of bowl games, because all of a sudden you've gone from a amateur and you're not a pro yet, but you're on a pro stage at this moment, and that's what's really important.
Well, you're right. It's that moment where they finally lose the amateur tag. These young men have finished their eligibility, and their bowl game is behind them, except we do have 4 Clemson and 2 LSU men coming our way after the game. But besides those 6 guys, their eligibility is over, and now it becomes a job interview this week down in St. Petersburg.
Yep, I'm looking forward to it. It's my 21st year covering it.
Right.
Bob, I've gone from San Fran to San Antonio to Houston to Orlando and Tampa, and as a Miami guy, I got to tell you something, Bob. I want to thank you for, as the years went on, you just kept bringing it closer and closer to me here in Miami. So, all we got left is just move it on down here to Miami, and I'm good. That's it.
Well, in a previous life of mine, back in the 80s, I worked for the Orange Bowl committee, and my office was Gate 7 of the old OB Stadium. So I have a very soft spot for that area.
Oh, there you go. Hey, man, the OB. I plenty of games there with my dad. Rest in peace. Back in the day.
I miss it.
I'm looking. That's one of those those are memories that will last forever. Being in that Orange Bowl. So, Bob, this year, you guys have to be really excited. I thought you guys got a really nice list of players this year, and you just talked about some of the LSU Clemson kids that you're getting.
Well, you're right. We really do. And we've heard from the NFL scouts this year that this is probably the best roster we've put together in the past 5 to 6 years. They're loaded with wide receiver talented, as the NFL, of course, is going 5 wide and throwing it so much. It's hard to find a fullback these days. But we do have a few men that still put their hand in the ground, like that Bo Schembechler used to say. But we have a great group. We have over 350 NFL scouts that are going to start rolling in here Saturday. The NFL has chosen the coaches for both teams, and then people such as Scott Paoli and Dave Wanstead and Bill Polian are coming in from the NFL as advisors. We really have tied ourselves closely with the NFL and have made it a proving ground for them as they spend the week in St. Pete.
Yeah, no, that's one of the things I got to tell you, Bob, that stood out to me. I thought, this year's group was, right there. That I was thinking, again, I've gone to it a lot. This is one of the better groups that you've been able to put together, and how's the challenge been for these bowl games compared to the regular bowl games that these young men are stepping out and stepping away from, and they're not playing with their schools? But here it doesn't look like really we've lost a lot because of this being the next step to the professional level.
Right. It's we only take seniors, and so it is a situation where we study it all throughout this past spring. Already I'm starting to look at next year's senior class. And we only work through the head coach and the director of football operations in the fall to try to just get the word out that they're on our watch list and vice versa. And it's only now that they've signed with agents since their last bowl game or their eligibility has expired that agents are more involved. But it's a process that goes from amateur to professional as we're the segue for it. So it's it's pretty interesting to see that happen. But they recruit us, we recruit them. It's somewhat like when they were high school seniors all over again.
Yeah, no, I'm with you now, and I think has it become a little easier because we have lesser bowl games than we had, let's say, 10, 20 years ago. There were a lot more postseason bowl games. Does that make life a little easier for you guys, Bob?
Yes, it is. It has become a lot easier in that we are able to go out on site and see the games so much more often, and also as well to be at these bowl games. There used to be 7 or 8 bowl games, and now there are 25, 30 of them.
Yeah, no, it's back in the day. I remember I used to go to the Gridiron Classic, the Las Vegas Football Classic. I mean, there's a whole bunch of them that we used to have back in the day in the off season outside of the regular bowl games, and that's why. But this is. And I don't think people realize that the East-West Shrine is the oldest one out of all these postseason bowl games, right? If I'm correct, I think it's older than the Senior Bowl, right? Correct?
It began in 1925. You're correct. It is the oldest college all-star game consecutively running. This will be our 95th year. And as you know, for all 95 of these years, every single ounce of our effort has been to support Shriners Hospitals for Children.
That's right.
Which is what really has differentiated ourselves from all other All-Star games is our charity aspect and the fact that Sunday of this week, all of the All-Stars will join us for a visit in Tampa to our Shriners Hospitals in Tampa. And that is quite a highlight. As we always say, the guys walk into the hospital as the heroes, and as they leave, the patients and the kids they've met are the heroes.
Yeah, and that's the part, Bob, that's got to just make you feel absolutely amazing with the impact that these young men are making on these kids. And they may not know most of these players, but when they walk away, they are different people, or these kids are different because of it, and it's just a different kind of experience. But then, every time you talk to these players, they're different because of it, because they kind of get a dose of reality in all of this, because it makes you feel like, okay, you know what, my life is great, but look at this young child and look what he or she is going through, and it just, kind of beats you up a little bit. But here's a moment where you can make their lives a little better.
We visited this year with 3 quarterbacks throughout the year while we were on the road scouting these teams that are alums of the Shrine Bowl. And it was Tom Brady, Roger Staubach, and John Elway, all former alums of our game. And there wasn't a player there that could tell you much about the game or how it went, or they usually can tell you every play that was called, and they won 20-16. They all were talking about the hospital visit, and at least 2 of them had met a child then that is now 35, 45 years old. So you're exactly right. I will say on Tom Brady's end, though, he was on the bubble of being drafted, and he had a very good East-West Shrine game in '99, which led to the Scott Paoli and the New England Patriots drafting Brady in the 6th round.
Right, and by the way, they drafted Garoppolo too, who started at the East-West Shrine game, then got the invite at the Senior Bowl, and that's kind of how it took off. But it took off because at the East-West is where he made his name, and then went on to star or to play for the New England Patriots, and obviously we're seeing him star now for the San Francisco 49ers. Which that's the other thing. To me, and I haven't gotten all the info yet, but you got quite a few players in this game that I think are going to be drafted. Okay, and you might have a couple that are sneaking into the 3rd round.
That's exactly right. In the old days of the Shrine Bowl, the top 10 draft picks would be in our game. Mm-hmm. And as you know all too well, those days are gone. They're not playing anymore, or they're juniors. They're coming out early. But what we find and why the scouts are here in such massive numbers is that the lion's share of our players will go 3rd to 6th round. There'll be some on the first day and some on the second round, but the lion's share will go third to sixth round, including some undrafted free agents. But that's why it's so important here for the time. They're interviewed throughout the week, both with tests as well as athletic tests. The scouts come to the hotel and request to meet with them for an interview, just one-on-one in street clothes.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. And Bob, we're going to be out all week over there at the team hotel. We're going to be setting up, and so I hope to have you on again during the week. Now, one of the things I wanted to ask you is you talked about how you're going after all seniors. Will you adjust down the line? Do you think you're going to adjust the way the Senior Bowl has, that they're now taking in fourth-year juniors or guys that are graduate? Are you going to adjust to that yourself?
Well, currently, the reason we don't is that's the NFL's preference. And with our alignment with the NFL, that is why. So that could evolve as the years go on, and is not, especially if their eligibility has expired. And for instance, Tony Jones from Notre Dame is in our game this year.
Yes, he is.
He's graduated already, and he has received his diploma. But he would have had one extra year at Notre Dame, but he chose to come out. So we're able to take him. But the average junior that has only been there 3 years but still comes out, at the moment, by following along with the NFL's wishes, that's why we do not.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there. Bob Roller, the executive director of the East-West Shrine Game. Bob, if folks want to maybe get tickets, make their way on down to the East-West Shrine Game, what do they got to do?
Well, it's very simple. We have a website that is shrinebowl.com. This year, the game's name was changed to the East-West Shrine Bowl. Nothing's changed except game turned into bowl. But the players had asked that over the past few years. And so all of our logos and our new equipment, and this year will mark that new deal. It's only $15, and there's children this year. We're having a fun zone on the field in pregame where all children and families are invited down to the field so they can be on the same field where the players are out in the outfield of Tropicana. And like I said, it's only $15 for adults, and it's at shrinebowl.com.
There you go. He is Bob Roller, Executive Director of the East-West Shrine Game. Bob, we'll see you in a couple days, my friend. Look forward to having you on again.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
You got it. There you go. Bob Roller, Executive Director of the East-West Shrine Game. Go to the website, shrinegame.com, and right in the front of the page, it'll say buy game tickets, and you can go in there. And also they've got tickets for the Hall of Fame reception tickets, because they'll have players that they induct players into their own East-West Shrine Hall of Fame. And I think this year, let me see, they're putting in Will Shields and Dan Pastorini. How about that? A little bit of a flashback for the Oilers. Dan Pastorini.
Handing off to Earl Campbell.
Yes, Dan Pastorini, man. And Will Shields was a hell of a lineman for the Chiefs for a long time. A monster human being, dude. So, yeah, it says it here. East-West Shrine Game, college football's oldest all-star game announced today. NFL legends Will Shields and Dan Pastorini will be inducted into the East-West Shrine Hall of Fame on the evening of the 17th during the Players Hall of Fame reception presented by More DM Group the night before the game. There you go. And they've had Walter Payton in this game, John Elway, Tom Brady, Roger Staubach, Brett Favre, Tony Dungy, Lawrence Taylor, Larry Zonka, just a couple of guys that played in this game.
It's a hell of a list, man. Every guy, like an all-timer.
Right. Yeah. That's it. I mean, you run into guys in this game that you're like, okay, down the line, they become really good players because they went in as low-round draft picks. But then they ended up, Walter came out of Jackson State. It wasn't like he came out of, Oklahoma or something back in the day. Jackson State. So you're like, oh, yeah, he's a good player, but he's in Jackson State. How good can he be? Yeah, well, he's just one of the best of all time. That's all. So, it's just one of those deals. But that's the fun part about over the years. You get to see some of these guys that go to the Shrine Game, and then they end up building, one hell of a career. And we'll find out this year on, some of these names, and we'll say, hey, This is one of those guys that could end up becoming special down the line. And what happens lately, I mean, not lately, but for the last, 20 years that I've been doing it, is some guys that really star here will then get another opportunity the following week at the Senior Bowl, and then their stock just explodes because it's back-to-back bowl games that you're in. All the NFL teams are looking at you, and then the media catches on because you've been now, you've gone from one bowl game to another, and it becomes kind of a headline overall. Jamaica Kane says, we need to all promote Blake James to go tag, but right now, and send this to the president and the shareholders. What? Jamaica Kane, I have no idea what the hell you're saying. Is it 420 yet? Go to the Waffle House. Play Action 7 says, I will be at the Miami Dolphins Stadium on draft night. You should be in Vegas with us on draft night. Miami, what are you going to do there? What are you going to do there? They're not going to give you a real breakdown of what's going on. You got to come to Vegas with us. Okay? That's the way. We give you the breakdown of all the players. All right? You'll be with all the Dolphins, having some fun. If you're going out to Vegas, I mean, what are you going to do? Are you going to stand there in front of, the guys that are talking about the draft and they're talking about all the teams? Or would you rather be at Tommy Rockers with 300 other Dolphins, and it's all about the Dolphins? And the people broadcasting, which is yours truly, will be talking strictly Dolphins and how it affects your team. That's where you want to go. That's where you want to be. All you're going to get at the stadium is fluff. Station can't be anything, objective. Trust me, I know. Let's see. My comment was for Waffle House people, as those are the different ways you can order hash browns there. Okay, Dougie Fresh. What was that? Your show is smothered, scattered. I got you now. Okay. I got you now. Nice one. Big O, can this team get any better? That's scary good. The Heat, well, they got a little better because you had Winslow, you added depth. They're deep now. That's the other thing about this team. They got enough talent that they're not playing people. Okay? Remember, you've developed a star, I think, in Bam, because he's playing like a star. You got a star in Butler, so you got two all-stars, not superstars, all-stars. And then you've got Goran Dragic, who's like a six-man of the year candidate. And then you've got rookie of the year candidates. Because Tyler Hero can be one, Kendrick Nunn can be one, right? You got multiple guys playing at that kind of level. Duncan Robinson, not that they're going to be rookie of the year, but, I mean, it's just they could be in the conversation. And how is Duncan Robinson not in the three-point contest? He's got to get it. Let's see, what else do we have here? Big O, my wife and I are going to L.A. in June. Oh, good for you. I am jealous. I love going to L.A. Maybe I'll go in June. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. But I love L.A. That's a fun place to visit, man. I love going to L.A. Really, really good stuff. Yesterday, I ran into an interesting story and talking a little music on the music side. There's actually going to be some pretty interesting, for those of you out there that are, maybe into music a little bit. This year, there's actually a lot of really good concerts out there on the road. I don't know if you guys have seen this. I don't know if you've seen this, Bill, but in 2020, there is a whole bunch of really good bands and festivals that are taking place. Listen to this. Over the next 12 months, you've got the Doobie Brothers with Michael McDonald. You're going to see that? I want to see that.
Yeah, got to do that.
Yeah.
Never seen them, actually.
Black Crows also are getting back together. I don't know if these idiots can stay together, but they'll try to stay as long as they can.
I've never seen them either.
I'd like to see the Black Crows myself. I haven't seen them in I saw them once. They were opening up for, God, I forgot who it was now.
Did you see them at the Hollywood Sportatorium, man?
It was in the 90s, I want to say. Yeah, I want to say it was 90s. I forgot who it was that they were opening up for. It's a long time ago, man. So definitely Black Crows. And then stadium tours, Motley Crue, Def Leppard, Poison, Joan Jett. I like that concert, but, man, they are charging a world of money for it. And I got to warn you, Vince Neil does not sound good, okay? All right? We'll get into David Lee Roth later on, but he'll remind you of David Lee Roth. Or the Hella Mega Tour featuring Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy. I don't know why they keep leaving out the Interrupters. And I guess because Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy are more, like, I don't know, 90s, early 2000s. And Interrupters are of the last 10 years. They're a new band. They're a ska band. So maybe that's why. But the Interrupters are opening up for Green Day, Weezer, and Fall Out Boy because I'm going to that concert. Okay? Guaranteed. I already got my tickets. I'm in the pit for that concert.
You ready for this?
What's that?
The day that concert came out, we were at Craig's Inn and made the announcement within 20 minutes after it broke, if you remember.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we were at, is it going to be cold enough?
Maybe Amy Interrupter will give me another T-shirt. That was the last time I saw the Interrupters. I was on my phone posting something. I'm standing right in front of the stage. Amy comes, she went to the back of the stage, then comes back, brag about the Interrupters, love the Interrupters. I'm a huge Interrupters fan. So, yes. Yeah, I love that concert, man. Weezer's cool. I like Fall Out Boy. Love Green Day. Have you ever seen Green Day in concert?
No, I have not.
And I know you like Green Day.
Yeah, of course.
My wife loved the concert. She only knows a couple songs of Green Day.
Right.
She might know 2 or 3 songs.
Okay.
She was jumping, loving life. I mean, she was going nuts on, and she's not even now she's a fan. She's like, wow, I love them.
If I'm not mistaken, the last couple of years, they've gone into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, right?
Yes, they did. I think they were inducted.
In the last couple of years.
I want to say you're right. 2 years ago, I think it was, that they were inducted into the Rock Hall of Fame.
Speaking of, awesome, that shirt is,
AC/DC?
And I saw that tour.
Can't wait for them now, huh? We got to see Brian Johnson one more time,
Have you read anything about
it's coming.
the situation?
It's happening.
Yeah, but every time, supposedly, I guess he had an interview with Dan Rather.
Yeah.
And one of the agreements was there was no mention of us getting back together and when we're going to come out on
tour.
Well,
because
he said, if I'm talking to you, we're not going there.
Right, because they wanted to, remember, Angus runs the show.
Okay,
remember, he had an ear issue, and Angus said, we got no time for that. You step aside. Axel, come help us. We're out of here. He's ruthless. He didn't waste any time.
You saw it and said.
That's what I'm saying. So it must be a thing where legally he can't do anything. It's Angus's band, bro.
He's bound.
Right, because they want to break the news as a band. Hey, the album comes out now. The tour starts here. And so it'll be announced as a band, not individually. And remember, again, he's already been on the outside looking in once.
And you said Axel did a really good job.
Yeah. I thought of it. I got to say, here's where I was dead wrong. When they named it, I go, oh, this is a joke. You're going to put Axel? Come on, man. And then I went, when they started, I went to YouTube, and I was like, holy crap, it sounds good. It sounds good because I didn't think of Bon Scott, and I didn't think of Axel's voice, that when you start to think about it, it has Bon Scott-like characteristics. It's not Bon Scott. I'm not saying it is Bon Scott. But what I am saying is when he sings AC/DC, he will swing to more Bon Scott sound purposely because he has that. Like Brian Johnson, if his life depended on it, he could never sound like Bon Scott because they're two different singers. You know what I mean? But Axl has that voice that he has a little of that Scott in him. So that's why it was excellent. I loved it.
And you said they did probably more Bon Scott.
Yeah, they did a lot of Bon Scott.
Than
yes.
what they do with Brian. So
Yes.
Nice little change of pace.
Yeah.
Man, it's been, you know what? The thing about them, we have been waiting for how long now? 8 years?
Yeah, it's been
for
a while.
this. I mean, we've heard rumors, and like the rumors obviously really hard the beginning of last year.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to last year.
Yeah, it'll happen here. This year is when the tour is supposedly going to happen. The album will come out, and the tour will happen. I don't know exactly when, but we're going to get it.
It's
this
inevitable.
Year. Yeah,
it's
happening.
Yeah.
Angus doesn't stop, dude. It's not like he has any intention of
his
quitting.
persona on stage and just going 90 and not stopping, that's his everything in life.
Right.
Okay.
That's who he is. That's what his life is.
Seems wound up like a top, man.
Yeah, dude. Even at this age, he still can, just jam. So I'm looking forward to seeing them one more time. I've seen them several times, but I can't wait to see AC/DC one more time, man. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I will predict right now that will be a huge, huge tour. It will sell out everywhere it goes.
Yes. No doubt. Just like Eddie Pereira at Pallet Rack City, they sell out all the time, baby. They buy and sell new and used pallet racking. So if your warehouse is looking like a mess, you got boxes stacked on top of each other looking like the Leaning Tower of Pisa and all that, and there's no way you can be organized that way. You want to add those racks. You want to have great-looking racks. Don't you love a great-looking rack? I know I do. So you got to go to Pallet Rack City and call Eddie Pereira. Straighten out that business, 305-887-9212. They also sell used forklifts and dock equipment. They're your one-stop shop for all of your warehouse needs. They also sell pallet jacks, hand trucks, dock boards, and most packaging supplies. They specialize in knockdowns and installations of your warehouse equipment. Call Eddie Pereira right now. Tell him that Big O sent you. Take care of your business. Make it look better. Make it look organized so you can work more efficiently. Get a great rack. You get it at Pallet Rack City. All righty, coming to you live, baby, from Toyota of Hollywood, 1841 North State Road 7, just a couple blocks south of that big, beautiful guitar there at the Hard Rock. So come on by. We'll be out here till 3 o'clock. We are now going to turn our attention to a little gambling. We love to do a little gambling here on the show. And, of course, it's our Hialeah Park sports investment segment. Brian Edwards, we like to go around the country, talk to different handicappers, folks that can give us great opinions, great insight on the different games that we've got coming up. Brian, of course, you can go to his website, brianedwardssports.com, majorwager.com, and, of course, the Games Galore podcast is out there for you. Brian, good afternoon, my man. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, Big O. Thanks so much for having me.
It is great to have you on, my brother. Good to talk a little sports here. First of all, let's get into some of the playoff games we got going on this weekend. A little Vikings and Niners. Right now, I've got the Niners -7. The over and under is 44.5. What are you thinking about this one? Can Kirk Cousins and the boys shock the world here?
Yeah, they can. Now it's a big red flag that they played Sunday in New Orleans, and now they've got to fly 2,000 miles west, and they play Saturday, making it a short week. So that is a bit of a concern. Nevertheless, I am going to play Minnesota plus the 7. Kirk Cousins was very impressive last week, completely outplayed Drew Brees threw a perfect deep ball to Thielen on the game-winning drive in OT, and then the perfect pass to Rudolph. I thought Dalvin Cook looked 100% healthy. There were concerns about his health going into the playoffs, but I thought he looked great. And Mike Zimmer, a masterful defensive plan. Now, the travel and the short week concerns me a little. So I will, for money management purposes, point out that I'm not on Minnesota as strong amount-wise as I am on these other two I'm going to tell you about, but I will be on Minnesota plus the 7.
Okay, all right. So it's a slight lean is what you're saying to Minnesota. Is that the way you would describe it?
That'd be fair.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, that would be fair.
All right, the other Saturday game, will Ryan Tannehill actually keep this roll going for the Titans? Can Henry punish the Ravens? The Ravens are favored by 9, brother, so the wise guys are comfortable here, and the over and under right now I have is 46.5. What do you think about this one, Brian?
I like the Titans here. Now, I'm not saying I like them to win outright. I like them plus the point. I was able to get it at plus 10. If your number is plus 9.5, I always recommend buying the half point to a key number, which is obviously 10, like 3, 7, 14, etc. I like the Titans because Tannehill is hot, 8-3 in his 11 starts. In his last 8 starts, he has a 16-2 touchdown to interception ratio, and bully ball is what they played last week with Derrick Henry, a workman-like 34 carries for 182 rushing yards, led the NFL in rushing yards during the regular season, and they have excellent defense, and defense traveled. A.J. Brown, the rookie out of Ole Miss, had a big December, but he was real quiet in Foxborough last week, but it looked for him to get more involved this week. Now, this is nothing anti-Baltimore. Obviously, they're hot. 12-game winning streak, 9-1 against the spread their last 10. But Mark Ingram might not be healthy, and I think that's a pretty big deal. And we're catching a big number, so I like the Titans.
All right, Titans plus 10 for Brian Edwards. You can go to his website, by the way, brianedwards.com and majorwager.com. You can also check that out. All right, we move over to the Sunday games, Brian. The Chiefs right now, I got them 9.5. The over and under is 51. What do you think about that game?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the underdog again, and like I said on the Titans, if your number is 9.5, I stress buying that half point to the key number of 10. Houston already went to Arrowhead back on October 13th, and they won outright. The Chiefs have lost outright at home 3 times this year. The Texans on the road are 4-3 straight up, 4-2-1 against the spread. They only played 7 road games because they went to London to play the Jags. And if we look at their underdog situations for the Texans, if we discount the regular season finale, and we should because Deshaun Watson didn't play and a number of key players didn't play when they were a 10-point home dog and didn't cover. If we discount that, the Texans have been an underdog of 3 or more 6 times this year, and they're 5-1 against the spread with 4 outright wins. Watson was terrific last week, 20 of 25, 247 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, 55 rushing yards and 1 touchdown. I think KC wins, but I think Houston covers.
I'm with you. I like the Texans plus the number, and it's all really Watson, man. That kid is money. That kid is clutch. He finds a way to stay in games. He finds a way to win games. You can't teach that at all. So I'm with you. I like the Texans plus 9.5. Big time with that one. All right, the afternoon game on Sunday at 6:40 on Fox. It is the Seahawks visiting the Packers. Green Bay is favored by 4. Over and under is 47. How are you looking at that one there, Brian?
I'm looking for a big line move or some personnel injury situation to change my mind on it. But right now, I just think it's a great number. I made it for myself. I slightly lean Green Bay to win based on the home field advantage. But I will point out how great Seattle has been on the road. Now, as an astute tweeter let me know yesterday after I tweeted that Seattle, when they play in the Eastern time zone this year, they're 6-0 straight up, 4-1-1 against the spread. But Green Bay is in the Central time zone, not the Eastern. So consider that factoid how you want. I just, I slightly lean Green Bay to win a close game, but I don't want to lay more than 3. And right now, Big O, man, I'm just on the sidelines for this one. Maybe I'll look for an in-game opportunity or a halftime line that attracts me. But right now, I'm on the sidelines for it.
Okay. All right, so Brian, a lot of times we want to look for props in these games. Give me one or two props that you really love in these games.
All right, I'm going to give you two on over-under rushing yards, both in the Titans-Ravens game. I like Derrick Henry to go over 94.5 rushing yards. Baltimore does have the number 5 run defense in the NFL, but I think that's a little misleading. You know, think about this 12-game winning streak they're on. They've had big leads where a lot of opponents have abandoned the run, so I think that makes their run defense look a little better. But it's just, look, the last 7 games for Derrick Henry, here are his rushing yards. 152, 211, 86, which would be the only under of this number that's 94.5 rushing yards. 103, 149, 159, 188. He got 34 carries last week. I think over 94.5 Derrick Henry's rushing yards. And then I also like Lamar Jackson's over 77.5 rushing yards in 5 of Baltimore's last 6 games that he played in. He skipped the regular season finale. 5 of 6, he's had 79 rushing yards or more. He had averages 6.9 yards per carry, rushed for 1,206 yards. And the fact that Mark Ingram is dealing with that calf injury might, create where they're passing the ball more or when they're running, Jackson runs more. I just think it creates a situation where we'll probably see Lamar running more often than he would normally if it was 100% Mark Ingram.
I'm with you on the. I love the Derrick Henry over. Why? I will add a caveat to what you were saying. They're not going to depend on Ryan Tannehill. They have not done that all year. All he does is he's made a couple of complimentary passes in each of the games, but they're going to ride Henry 99% of the time. And I don't expect Ryan Tannehill to be the guy that beats the Ravens. If somehow the Titans beat them, it's because Derrick Henry had a good game. And if he had a good game, he got over that 95-yard mark. So I'm with you. They're going to feed the monster because that's the only way they really can win this game is by feeding that monster.
Yeah, my only fear...
I don't believe Ryan can beat him.
Yeah, my only fear on the Henry prop bet is that Baltimore... But I don't... It's my only fear, but I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, obviously, I told you I think the Titans are going to cover, so I don't think this happens. But if Baltimore were to just jump out to a huge lead... And Tennessee has to abandon the running game early. But I don't expect that to happen. And if it's a close game, I know Henry, barring getting an injury, he's going to get enough touches, to get this. So that's why I like it.
I'm with you there. All right, one more thing before I let you go, Brian. The national championship game, we're right around the corner. Right now, LSU is favored by 6. The over and under is 70, my friend. What do you think about that one?
Well, I got a better line early. Actually, before the semifinals, they had lines for all different potential matchups in the finals. I actually got LSU at Pick'em, but I still recommend it at -6. I love Clemson. It's nothing anti-Clemson. Obviously, they haven't lost in years. Trevor Lawrence hadn't lost since high school. So it's obviously not an anti-Clemson play. It's just a pro-Joe Burrow play. I just don't think anybody can stop this LSU offense. And Lawrence is going to get his yards. Hell, Clemson might score 40, but LSU is going to score more. They'll outscore them, and I think they win by 2 touchdowns.
Wow. All right. There you go. Follow Brian, by the way, on his website at majorwager.com. Also, BrianEdwardsSports.com. And check out the podcast, The Games Galore. What do you got going on that podcast, my brother?
Oh, we're always talking football, basketball, and some UFC, and we always keep it with the gambling angle and try to have fun with it.
There you go. Brian, good stuff, my brother. Thank you for taking some time. We really look forward to doing it again, my friend.
There you go. Thanks so much for having me, and have a great weekend. Enjoy the game.
You got it, baby. Be good. There you go. Brian Edwards on our Hialeah Park Sports Investment segment. All right, if you want to get in on the accidentllawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. That's 786-322-1105. 11:05 if you want to get in, and we are out here at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume sales dealer, 6 years in a row here in the Southeast United States. #1. Nobody sells more cars. So whether you want to buy or lease a vehicle, do what I did, man. Come on down to 1841 North State Road 7. And let me tell you something. How about this? Corolla 2020 LE. All right, pre-owned, listen to this. Not $22,000, not $16,000, $13,775. Yeah, they've got brand new Toyotas, 0% financing, 72 months. They'll make your payments until 2021. They've got all kinds of great deals going on here. So come on down, baby. The all-new 400,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility. And, man, let me tell you, this place is ginormous, and there are a ton of cars and a great selection. They're open till midnight, so come on down to 1841 North State Road 7 in Hollywood. It is Toyota of Hollywood. All right, let's see what else do we have going on. Did you hear about the AB curse? Do you know about this, Bill?
What is he doing now?
Well, I mean, I don't know if I could blame him necessarily, but
is it when you don't get paid?
No,
is that what it?
Well, yeah, that's working for him. It is kind of a curse because you're not going to get paid.
You know what? We've had the AB curse.
Yeah, we've had the AB curse. It exists in the radio business. Yes, there's no doubt. In the radio business, you do have people that are like Antonio Brown. Yeah. Anyway, somebody pointed this out. And then AB then retweeted it because apparently there is an Antonio Brown curse. I bet you guys didn't know that there's an Antonio Brown curse. Yes? Yes? So for those of you out there that whatever your favorite team is and you have been clamoring for Antonio Brown, let's run it by here. All right, you ready, Bill? What team was he originally on?
That'd be the Steelers.
That's right. Are they in the playoffs?
That would be a negative.
Okay. What team traded for him, but then he refused to go to it?
The Raiders.
No, he went to the Raiders. The Buffalo Bills agreed to a trade, and then he dissed it because he did not want to go.
That's right.
So, who's out of the playoffs?
Buffalo was bye-bye. Thank you, Mr. Watson.
He then ends up on the Raiders. Raiders deal with everything from helmet to foot to him not showing up to him showing up and all that stuff. Are they in the playoffs?
No.
Ha! Finally, the team that did sign him before the Raiders, or after the Raiders, the New England Patriots.
We had the pleasure of seeing him for his one game.
That's right. Yes.
In our
in
our own backyard.
Okay, just shut it down. Anyway, the Pats, they're out of the playoffs, right? They got eliminated. Who worked them out about 2 weeks ago? He brought an entourage. The New Orleans Saints.
And they never lose at home.
And they lost at home. They're out of the playoffs. How about that? There is the Antonio Brown curse. So, in a way, because there's a part of me that disgusts me that people are actually even giving this guy the time of day. If he is sexually, assaulting women like he allegedly has, almost killed a child, all of this, this is a guy that I have no respect for. And I hate that people like this get 8,000 chances. I hate it. Because you're not going to get 8,000 chances, and neither am I in my business. We're not going to be allowed to have 3 and 4 DUIs like they let you in the NFL. Okay? Or Pac-Man Jones gets arrested 9 times. On the 10th one is when he finally got, cut from the NFL. Plus, he's like 30-something already at this point. Trust me, your job is probably getting rid of you on your second arrest. You might survive the first. Maybe. I'm going to give you a break that you survived the first. A lot of us may not even survive the first. So these kind of people, I have no sympathy. But I love the karma behind it. New Orleans, you want to be a bunch of losers? And you want to go work out AB, which you should not be working him out. The NFL should, remember I talked about this. I'm pretty consistent on this. I said it weeks ago. I said the NFL should have blocked this, should have never allowed a team to even work him out. You're investigating him. And the Saints are out. New England's out. Raiders are out. Love it. Steelers, they hit his ass for years. They're out. Bills try to trade for him. They're out. Love it, man. This is fantastic. And by the way, then the person that pointed it out, AB then kind of retweeted it and all that stuff. So he kind of like, rode that wave, which at this point now, and let me tell you, in sports, they are superstitious at times. Okay? They if they brush their teeth at a certain time in the day and that's allowed them to have a winning streak, they'll keep doing it at that time. They'll drive their car at the same time, the same route. They'll wear the same underwears. They'll whatever. They do all kinds of crazy-ass stuff to keep streaks alive. That's been a part of the sports culture forever. Well, here's a new one now. You want to come work out, AB? No, have you seen what's happened to all the other teams that are associated with that guy? His stank ends up on them, and they end up out. How about that? Antonio Brown. So if he's egging this on, is he looking forward to ruining another team's season? Now you know, if your team wants to work out Antonio Brown, wants to trade for Antonio Brown, wants to sign Antonio Brown, you now know how your season's going to end from here on out, because clearly he has been cursed. But some old lady in Hialeah did a little Santeria and put it right on him and put the kibosh on him, and that's it. It's over.
I understand she lived at that apartment building temporarily where he was throwing the furniture off. She was pissed off about that.
I can imagine. Definitely. I can imagine.
Do you know that he was the #1 Google searched athlete last year?
Okay.
And he's
a train wreck, so yeah.
And he took this as a compliment.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And made some comment to the effect that he's Superman.
Yeah.
And he's glad to be here in South Florida and be able to be a good influence on the kids here in South Florida.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he said.
Yeah, he's such a great influence, that guy. Seriously.
He really has mental issues.
Yeah, no. They're
legit.
No. That guy's elevator does not go to the top floor. There's no doubt in my mind. He is bat crap crazy. Okay? Antonio Brown está loco. All right? Guaranteed. You loco ese? From that drop from
when you put
Insane in the Membrane.
When you put the Latin accent, man, you do that pretty well, by the way, in case you were unaware.
I have a little Latin in me, I guess. I don't know. Alzigari might be something. I don't know. Might be something.
A little saucy.
Might be something. 786-322-1105 is the accidentlawfirm.com text line if you want to get in on the program. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the program. By the way, after this, I'm going to shoot over to VSS West Pines. Yes, so if you're going to be in that neighborhood, we'll be there by 4 o'clock. We'll have some fun and hang out with the boys. We are going to be broadcasting live at VSS West Pines with Jose and all the folks out there at VSS West Pines. I forgot when. It's like late January, I think, I want to say.
If I had to venture a guess, it's not the next 2 weeks because we're booked.
No. It's the 28th. 28th.
My sister's birthday.
Yeah, it's the National Kazoo Day, and it's also Christy McAuliffe Day on the 28th. So there you go. It's a Tuesday. We will be there on the 28th at VSS West Pines.
I know you're into the astrological, the moon and then the planets and all that stuff. Do Do you know this Friday will be the first full moon of the year, and it is called the Wolf Moon.
Speaking of moon, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the program, that's 786-322-1105. I'm sure it'll be a sight to see.
Yes.
Moons are always sights to see. You know what I'm saying? Just like racks. That's why you got to go to Pallet Rack City. It's always a sight to see when you go to Pallet Rack City. It's fantastic. Let's see. User Tone says he's drinking the Kool-Aid and laughing my ass off. That's who he is. That's who he is. That's Antonio Brown. But it's weird, man. The curse. Wow. That was interesting when somebody came up with that. I know. I just hope the Dolphins never even bring him in for a workout. I don't think they will, because it just seems like Chris Greer's.
Flores. Could you see Flores dealing with him?
And they already did the Mark Walton thing, and it didn't work out. So that's one of those. You kind of learn your lesson. And these guys that are knuckleheads, and I got to tell, that's the other thing. Mark Walton and Antonio Brown. How did they hide everything at UM, and how did they hide everything in Pittsburgh? Wow. Because, Mark Walton turned into a, first-class scum. And you never got that impression that he was that kind of kid, and obviously he's a pretty bad individual.
Like Manny had pointed out to us, his high school football coach being there, man, he must be a pretty good person to keep that in line.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Whoever you are, sir.
Yeah, and in Pittsburgh, however, they kept AB in check. That is mind-blowing, okay? Absolutely mind-blowing. Caneswear is mind-blowing. You go there and you get anything and everything that you're looking for with a Canes logo. And let me tell you something. It's not just Canes products. Miami Dolphins, getting ready for the offseason, a little draft. You want to get some Dolphin stuff. Marlins, they've got a couple of things there for the Marlins. The Panthers, the Heat, and even Inter Miami. So when the new jerseys come out, guess who's going to be carrying the new jerseys? Caneswear, that's right. Brett and all the great people at Caneswear, I can't wait to get my kits because they're going to have them in both colors. And I will be racing over there and getting 2 kits for myself. So get on down to Caneswear at Miami Fanwear, 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Tell them that Big O sent you, and, of course, they will take care of you. 2511 South University Drive in Davie. Caneswear, Miami Fanwear, that's a spot where fans like me shop. If you want to get in, we'll answer your questions on the YouTube chat board. Remember to give us the thumbs up on the YouTube chat board when you're watching. Make it more where it starts to trend more. We got to build up the subscribers. We got to get to 1,000 as soon as possible. So if you can, subscribe, spread the word, spread the link, get people to subscribe, create all kinds of fake accounts. Do it, baby. Also, you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, 786-322-1105. We'll answer your questions there at 786-322-1105. And you can also reach out on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. So many ways to reach out to the program. Let's take a break. We'll come back with more live from Toyota of Hollywood. If you want to get on down here, come on down to 1841 North State Road 7. Get a great deal on a Toyota vehicle, or come on out here and hang out with us, man. It'll be fun at Toyota of Hollywood.